Alright, so I did my project over the Cincinnati Reds and their impact on the city of Cincinnati. So I broke down into three sections. The first was just the overall impact that the team has on the city as a whole, and then secondly, I did like local businesses as far as hotels, restaurants, and the impact that the team has on them and their business. And then lastly, I did the impact it could have on future businesses as far as industries or whatever entering into Cincinnati. All right, so for the first section, I looked at the team as a whole and their financials. They were ranked 20th by Forbes as far as the team valuations for the MLB. That's out of 30 teams, so it's one of the lower ones. But if you consider with how small of a market they're in, that's not bad. Cincinnati, I think, they said was the second smallest city behind Anaheim that hosts a team, and obviously Anaheim's right next to Los Angeles. But for how small of the market it is, that's pretty good. Their revenue for that year is $277 million, which is up from prior years, even though the net income's down overall. Because they've been spending more, their revenues have increased, which is good for the city. It means they're growing. And to kind of give an impact, show you the impact that they've had economically on the city. These numbers are from 2003, but in 2003 it was estimated that there's $253 million of economic impact that were caused by the franchise being in the city. So it's a big help for the city overall, and probably has to be one of the biggest economic drivers. And to show you, like, even just like one big player can really help the economics grow. Ken Griffey Jr. was signed in 2000 by the Reds, and they estimated that he just himself brought in $49 million of economic impact into the city. So that can just show you that even just one big player can really drive the economy. For the second section, I went over how it affects businesses, local, and how it helps them grow. I really focused on the All-Star game that they hosted last year at Great American Ballpark. Some numbers from that, they estimated overall just for the weekend the All-Star game was held that there's $60 million in economic impact brought in from that. To give you kind of a couple numbers for that, 16,000 hotel rooms were bought by the MLB themselves to house the players and their staff and other people. So that can show you just how that's probably one of the biggest events that Cincinnati's ever held, and that can just show you just how much it can help the community. And of course, if people are staying in hotels, they're going to go to restaurants and other attractions throughout the weekend. They're there when they're not playing baseball, and that will just really help raise money in the community and bring up the economy as a whole for Cincinnati. For the third, I just looked into how the franchise can help bring in future local businesses and industries. To give an example, in 2010, or since 2010, there's been $600 million worth of developments around the vicinity that the Great American Ballpark is at, and that can just show you how much just the draw of a team, even if they're not playing great, can have on the community, and they can just really build their infrastructure and just bring in new businesses and industries. So overall, you can see how much the Reds themselves mean to Cincinnati and how much any franchise can mean to a city. They've obviously brought in millions and millions of dollars throughout the years. They've been in Cincinnati since pretty much like the 1800s. I think it was 1882. So they're one of the first baseball franchises, and they've been in Cincinnati for a really long time. So they've been benefiting them economically for years and years, obviously. And you can see how much they've really meant to the city. And I see them continue growing, and with that, the city, I think, will continue to grow as a whole economically, and it will continue to be a big building block for the city of Cincinnati. And as long as the franchise grows, I can see more and more business coming into Cincinnati. Thank you.